you ever had an embarrassing fan moment?
I've never wet myself in front of Bono or Bruce Springsteen or anything like that.
Hey, this is L Devine and you're listening to Growing Pains. So today is a very special episode of the podcast because I've brought back my dad, Nigel, and my best friend, Davina. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi. And they're joining me today for this episode where I asked you some questions, you the listeners, and you sent me in your own coming of age experiences because, as you know, I'm a singer-songwriter and I am inspired a lot by my experiences navigating through adolescence. So yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts and your stories, and yeah, here we are. So how are we? How does it feel to be famous now, guys?
That's really good. I'm pleased to be back. I really enjoyed the first session and had some fantastic feedback from it.
Yeah, how was the response to both of your episodes?
So good. Like, I feel so great. It's really exciting to be back. I love podcasts, and everyone that's listened has been so
Have you been listening to it?
about it. Yeah, I've been listening. I love Nigel's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Davina's episode.
Oh, stop.
But I've listened to them all, and
Really
I think
good.
what's lovely is the feedback I got was how people really loved our relationship and the banter that we had between us, and that it was quite natural.
I found that so interesting though, because I really feel like anyone who knows my dad will agree that you were really sensible and serious on the podcast, and you put on all the comments are brilliant. Everyone replied being like, he's put his Whitley Bay phone posh voice on. You was putting on such a posh voice. You were like,
You did sound quite posh.
I grew up by the shipyards, and it was brilliant though. No, I was really proud of you because
today I'm going to be speaking in Geordie, so nobody will understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, so today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to listen to some of the fans of the podcast's little voice notes that they sent in. So first up, we'll hear from Ellie, who told us her most embarrassing story.
Probably my most embarrassing moment in my coming of age years was when I met Louis Tomlinson in 2015, because as soon as he walked through the door, I got that excited. I literally wet myself, and I will never live that day down, ever.
Oh, bless her. Oh, well, I'm proud of you for telling the world about that. Dad, do you even know who Louis Tomlinson is?
Yeah.
Who?
He's in the band, that really famous boy band that came together from X Factor.
Are you pretending you don't know the name? Or do you?
They're called One Direction.
Hey!
I'm really surprised you know that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
there you
impressive.
go. Have you ever had an embarrassing fan moment?
I've never wet myself in front of Bono or Bruce Springsteen or anything like that, but I suppose that
I just didn't know if
only gonna go one
fangirl
direction,
was like
wasn't
as much of a thing back in the day, like, or stanning.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was different as a man night, but we used to go to gigs and really get to see people, famous people. But certainly, I've never wet myself. But there's no shame in that.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe I will one day.
I've definitely
We all
not
wet
meeting Louis
ourselves,
Tomlinson. To be honest, like, I've wet myself in way less exciting situations. So, I mean, just yeah.
I get it though. I mean, I've been I'm not still a massive One Direction fan, but at the time, I loved One Direction.
Yeah, everyone did.
I remember. Can you remember? Did you watch X Factor that year?
Yeah, I watched X
properly?
Factor. Yeah.
So back in the days when X Factor was like the biggest thing on TV, so every single Saturday I would be watching. And I remember when they formed One Direction and they performed at judges' houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that performance, oh my goodness, I watched it over and over and over again.
Really?
I was obsessed.
What did they sing? Do you remember?
Torn.
Oh
by
yes,
Natalie-
I remember actually.
Literally, oh my god, I remember.
I remember
it so
Harry.
well.
I remember Harry's outfit. He had like
the scarf.
the scarf and the. Did
Yeah.
he have like a little cardigan as well, something with a polo shirt? Or am I thinking? Oh, that's his first audition. I
Yeah,
think. I can't
he was just
remember.
wearing a little scarf and a t-shirt. I think.
Yeah.
Liam
Okay,
Payne
sorry.
was my favourite, and
Really, that's not. Good.
I'm pretty sure your boy Louis, Ellie, was miming. I am absolutely sure that he was miming because like he was saying the same words as Harry was saying,
And
but
just,
like there was only one voice and it was Harry's. But yeah, no, I was the biggest One Direction fan, so I probably would have been the same. I used to like imagine the situation in which I'd meet Beyonce and like make myself cry and everything.
What is the situation?
I don't know yet, to be honest. It varied. Now I'm just hoping one day like I'll be rich and famous and I'll just meet her at a really intimate concert. And obviously I want to be. It's a bit weird because I feel like I know her.
Yeah. Do you remember
Yeah.
when we used to like talk to each other and like plan fantasies?
like what?
Okay, maybe we shouldn't put this on the podcast.
Like what?
Okay, maybe.
Put my fingers in my ears.
Put
and
this
just
on
go,
podcast.
Oh my god,
Jesus.
no, but we used to like, no. But just like if we ever fancied someone, we'd be like, right, okay, you're going to a party, and they're like,
hang on.
Have the
Like-
full scene
we'd
sorted
be like,
out
there's
in
a
your
swimming
head.
pool in the garden.
The swimming pool. I
I
remember the swimming pool.
so much.
Wasn't there a hotel fantasy as
All right,
well?
let's not go that deep into
Oh my
this.
god. Time to leave.
And then no, but then
Taxi for
I
Nigel.
remember. So me and Davina used to talk about no, but this is why I'm talking about this because me and Davina used to talk about these, right? And then this is before I came out. And then I remember the first thing you asked me when I came out, you was like, "So all this time the fantasies have been about the." Okay, next up, we've got a lovely note from Shane, so let's have a listen to that.
Hi Liv, it's Shane. Which song did you have on repeat when you were a teenager? It will probably be something like Gimme More or Break the Ice or Piece of Me or something like that from Britney Spears, because that album is probably one of my favourites and always will be one of my favourite albums of all time. Other than that, if I would say growing up and still a teenager, it would have been something probably from Tinashe. Tinashe is one of my other favourite artists of all time. Something like the song Super Love. That song just makes me so happy. I was in a pretty good time in my life. I was finishing sixth form. That song came out. Other than that, there's something like more of her deep cut stuff like Ecstasy or Another Me, which are like two of my favourite songs of all time.
You feel me deep down, you got me so quick, you mess me around, I'll be talking that shit. You hold me so tight, I'm singing so sweet. You feel me with light to the tip of my feet. You feel me deep down, you got me so quick, you mess me around, I'll be talking that shit. You hold me so tight, I'm singing so sweet. You feel me with light to the tip of my
Okay, first off, Shane, you have the best taste in music ever.
Yeah.
Me and
I rate
that's
it.
so funny that you say that. That me and Davina actually like were obsessed with Tinashe. I've like 100% somewhere in Newcastle. I've got a diary entry of like, and I've kept like 3 pages of a diary ever. So this will be like the one
She was
because I never stick
special.
for it. But yeah, I wrote in my diary like today Davina like introduced me to this artist called Tinashe, and I love it.
I believe that I founded Tinashe.
I think you actually, to be
Personally,
fair, like
to
you
be
did.
honest.
This was at a point when Tinashe was.
She wasn't a thing.
She wasn't a thing, and she was releasing all of her music for free. You could
Yes.
download her EPs
on this random
on her
online.
website.
Yeah, it wasn't even SoundCloud or anything
It
like
wasn't.
that.
Yeah, you just downloaded it, and it came into a file on your
Yeah.
computer, and you downloaded it. So got all of that. And yeah,
She
and then
was
she came out with like
so
2 on,
good.
and then she was huge.
Yeah. The first time I saw her was a YouTube cover that she did. It was Lil Wayne, How to Love. And I was like, ooh, she's good. And then Googled her and found these EPs. And then I
She's so
showed Liv
sick.
because I knew that she would love them. And yeah.
I love her.
But
And
yeah,
oh my god,
love
also
Just a
Britney
Taste.
Blackout. That's the best era of Britney ever.
Britney,
So,
Piece of Me, that is a huge song. I loved
love
it.
Mm.
What about you, Nigel?
I was thinking, so when I was 16, 17, I had a real eclectic taste, I think. So I loved some disco. I was playing you at Donna Summer, I Feel Love.
Yeah, I love
I really like that. But and then like a wee bit later on, it was like more punky stuff. So undertones.
Yes, love it.
So do you think your music taste, Liv, has been influenced by
Yeah,
that?
definitely. There's loads of songs that I would only know because of you, like, because I'm not being funny, but I think I actually found more punk stuff. I found that on my own, like, not
Really?
through you. I think you showed me.
You
Niall showed me loads of that stuff.
what was first record I ever brought home for
Oh, Bon Iver,
you?
that
No,
one.
No,
Oh,
it
that
was-
you bought for me. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Teenage Dirtbag.
Yeah, that's right. I remember
Wow.
putting it on and
I
you
remember
were
that.
jumping all over the room.
I was like, I would have been like 3 when that came out, or something.
Oh, you
But
were,
I remember when you
yeah.
came back from Wisconsin and brought back, and that's like probably. I remember like, and I'd make you like drive around in the car, and I'd like pretend I was in a movie and like put my head against the window while when that what's it called For Emma ago. That
Oh
song,
yeah, Bon Iver.
Yeah.
So I worked in Wisconsin, and they were from. I was in this
Yeah.
town, and I was asking about them. They were from that actual town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
got,
they-
you got like a burnt CD as well. It wasn't even the proper CD.
and they
so it was,
booked, and I asked what they were doing, and they were playing in Newcastle, in our hometown that night. I was like,
that's
how
so
weird
crazy.
is this? And then I brought you that CD home.
Yeah.
and then they became massive after that.
Yeah, they did. That's so crazy. Shane also sent us an answer to what was the defining moment of your adolescence.
It may sound cliche, especially probably because a lot of people feel like this, but figuring out my sexuality was probably the defining moment of my adolescence. For years, not knowing who you love or not knowing who you're capable of loving it's a weird feeling. For what a lot of my younger years I thought I was straight, but I knew something was different about me. For some of my teenage years I thought I was bi, and I was like, yes, I'm bi, this is how I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And then like when I was like 17, 18, I was like, wait a minute, I know I'm just gay. It it's a long, hard process to figure it out, but once you've finally done it, it's kind of freeing, especially when your family that you tell supports you, all your friends support you, everyone you know supports you, and just treats you like a normal human being. Because that's what we are. It's freeing, it's lovely, and it means that you can focus on better and bigger things in your life rather than stressing about your sexuality. That was probably the defining moment of my adolescence, just because it made me fully be able to blossom into like an adult.
I really like him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
lush.
I do.
What do you think of that, Dad? Like, obviously, I understand that from my perspective, but
About what? About
well, just like as a parent of someone who came out and stuff, is that?
it's just honestly, it doesn't really. I don't have any opinion about like you coming out. I mean, I'm proud of you, and I think the only concern I had was other people's attitudes towards you. And I think I said last time, I just always knew that you were gay because as kids growing up, you could just see in their faces when they have little crushes and stuff.
Oh, who did I used to have a crush on?
Well, I just remember like Sophie would come round, Olivia's eldest sister, with her friends, and Livy would just light up. Do you know what I mean? And they'd, like, want to.
I've never fancied any of my sister's friends.
I'm telling you, and then like Sophie would be like, oh, "Get lost, Olivia." And
No, I was
got excited.
I'm telling you,
bloody hell, you're reading it. I've never.
No, but I used to. But then,
Dropping
so
us in
I
it
kind of
here,
always
Dad.
knew that you were. Then you went through this stage of pretending that you fancied some lad, and
Shout out to
and
JP.
you gotta let you have your like, you know, your way of getting it out there. But you didn't make it like a massive like splash about coming out.
Nah, I
Did
didn't.
you?
I didn't actually tell you.
But you were
anyone.
worried
you
about
not?
what people thought, which I was. That kind of. Ugh, that
That's what
worried me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always that thing for me, like, is what would people be like, you know, homophobic people or people are bigoted, you know, those sort of things, you know, would enrage me if they treated you any differently, and certainly if they made you feel like shit. I think that just switches on something in me that
I don't think I ever told you that I was gay.
I think I told you. I told you.
I
that.
think no. I remember. What I remember is you were on
You're
FaceTime.
gay.
You were on
God's sake.
FaceTime with your Uncle Paul. And
Yeah.
Uncle Paul was like, "Livia, Les, aren't you?" And I was like, I don't know.
No, I said, Olivia's here with her girlfriend, and Alicia went, "Shut up, man, Dad." It's all you are, you know. And
Oh, well.
but I'm proud of you, and like, I love you, and that's what it's all about. Whether you're gay, straight, or whatever.
It's definitely a weird, like in our friendship group as well, when like social life is so centered around getting with boys,
Yeah.
getting with,
Yeah.
and also me and Davina went to an all girls school, so I think in like I definitely did feel like a little bit more embarrassment with it, because I don't know,
You
I just
do?
think
Do you think
don't
your
know.
friends were threatened by you?
no, but I do think, I know it sounds so weird, but I think when you grow up and like most of like becoming an adult is getting rid of the shame that you like built up in yourself like all of your teen years, and I think like I don't know. I definitely think it's like it affected like how I acted around women. Like even things as little as like I don't know. I just wouldn't like if we're all getting ready at parties. Like I wouldn't like I don't know. I just wouldn't want anyone to
so
think I was ever looking
sad,
at
isn't
anyone
it?
in a certain way. You know.
Is
Like, you
this
don't wanna,
even
like,
before you told us and told people?
yeah, like always, and I
Yeah.
didn't want like anyone to ever like.
That makes me sad.
No, that is sad.
And I still think that impacts me now. Like I'm definitely like I always feel like I'm like 10 times more just like careful. I don't know. Like I don't know.
Can you remember when you told me?
Yeah, I texted you. I remember I texted you, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, we went for dinner. Can you remember? We went to
I don't
Fratelli.
actually remember it.
We went to Fratelli for dinner, just like normal.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were going to tell me at Fratelli, or you were going to tell me that night, but you didn't.
Did you
and
know?
then we went back. No, I did. You know what?
Some
I
people
didn't
are,
have a
or some of my friends are
clue.
like,
You
"You was
didn't have a
pretty
clue,
fucking obvious," and then
Yeah.
other people are like, "I
I
had
didn't
no
have a
idea."
clue. It's
Like
just not
when I told
something
Sophie,
thought
she was
about.
like, "Yeah," to be honest.
I remember you said that. But yeah, so we'd gone for dinner, and then we walked all the way back to mine, and then chilled at mine for a bit, and then I think your dad picked you up. And it wasn't until that night she sent me this really long text. I remember receiving it. It was this paragraph, and you were babbling on. Literally, I didn't even know
by the
what
way,
you
I'm a
were
lesbian.
saying. And then in the
Then
middle of
be like,
this massive
"What do I look
paragraph, it said, "Yeah, so I kind of like girls." So yeah, and then there was like more babble. So I had to read it again, and I was like, "What is she saying?"
Oh god,
And then
I remember when I told
I
you.
didn't have a clue.
that's so funny.
I think you'd been really nervous to tell me though.
It was nerve wracking at first.
Of course, though, I get
Telling
that.
like
It's
the
hard,
because you
isn't it?
don't. There's some people that I'm like, okay, I know that these people won't react. Like I
Yeah.
did question like even like God love Sophie, but I was a bit like, oh my god, like you know what she's like. She'll just
Yeah.
she's always fine to
Oh.
me say something like funny. But like I attempt and I was really nervous to tell her. So I
Really?
text her and she went to bed and didn't reply to it. Like I was texting her and then
Oh,
I sent
really?
her and I was like, and then she didn't reply. And my heart, I remember like I was up like all night like. Fuck. But yeah,
see.
she was fine. She was like, "Lol."
What did you
like,
think
"Oh,
that
didn't you?"
people would
Yeah, what-
disown you or
No, I just
like
thought
reject you?
no, I just thought it was like because in our school, I don't know. Also, not to like blow my own trumpet, but it was like quite a big character in the group, and like we were like, and we were, you know, it was more just like I didn't care. I knew that the people that I loved and were close to me wouldn't care, but it's more like, you know, as soon as all the like all the boys and all the people that I didn't like care about found
What
out, and like
people
it's not
think and
nice. People like
say.
gossiping.
So was it a massive
people
relief
gossip.
when you kind of just finally said, "This is who I am"? And
Actually was it got like really like telling people got like I thought I would only tell like a few people and then never tell anyone else, but then as soon as I told like I think Hebe was the first person I ever told, and then I was like, oh actually that was quite
Easy.
nice, and then I was like and then I realised like
Yeah.
and also I was just sick. I was just like I cannot keep going out and like snogging these minging boys and like pretending that I'm not so but I just like do you know but
Did
it
you
was
actually have to
too,
go
like,
to those
hard-
lengths?
I don't want to go to these what?
Did you actually have to go to those lengths to kind of
Well,
be
like
one
I
of the
think
girls?
I
Everyone
think
was
at first
doing.
when I was consciously hiding it, yeah, and I went to like extra lengths to like conceal. I bloody
Hang on a
pretended
minute.
I was in
That's
love with
horrible.
no, but like I've like you know you pretend like you fancy these people so much and you go on and then like
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but it's just exhausting trying
it's
to
exhausting.
hide something that's like just
And I
kind of a
think-
big part of
yeah.
your life.
yeah.
Obviously, in your head, it would have been a really big deal telling everyone and telling people, telling your close friends. When you did tell them, did it kind of feel like, oh, like it's not actually
It
that
wasn't
big of a
actually a
deal?
big
Like,
deal. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
kind of a weight
I don't
off
think it
your
was
chest.
any. It was never. No, it was never a big deal. I mean, I think it was more just like gossip, like you know, like
Yeah.
as you know, like mums gossip.
So when did you know then that you were gay?
Honestly,
That's
since
a
I was
good
like.
point.
Oh, like I think
3
I
or
just
4,
yeah, like as soon as I could, like I just knew.
Yeah.
Like,
That's when I think I
even when
knew.
I was like, I remember asking you on holiday when I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you'd be
you
like,
did.
Dad, what's it called? Right, two
What?
guys get married,
Yeah, you did.
and
yeah.
like,
Oh,
and you were
did
like
you?
lesbian,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
now we're gonna hear a voice note from Louisa who lives in LA.
Hey, what's good? This is Luisa. Regarding your questions about which song did I had on repeat when I was a teenager, probably Bohemian Rhapsody. I was obsessed, and I'm still obsessed, but like during my teenage years, I would probably listen to it once a day, and that's just the minimum. It was just so... It was just a piece of art to me, plus I love Freddie Mercury and how like he used to like play around and, you know, redefine genres, and he was so himself, and he would just challenge like gender identities, and like he had a special place on me. He still has a really special place in my life.
I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Figaro. Magnifico! I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from this monstrosity.
That's the song that keeps on giving.
It's amazing.
Do you remember when it came out?
Oh, 100%. I think I can remember being at a school disco Christmas one, 1975, and it was out then, and it was just like completely
Have you ever
alien,
heard anything like that?
different to anything that anybody'd ever heard. But I remember instantly loving it.
Really?
And then almost every time I listen to it, I think back to that 1975. I'm almost certain it was then in a school disco, and I got a snog at the end of that school disco.
He nailed
And it was the
it.
first one I ever had.
That's
really,
for Freddie.
Probably, yeah,
Really?
proper one, yeah. So hey up to Freddie
So
and the
it makes
boys.
you feel good. It's
Mama.
cool that you make associations like that, how songs can remind you.
Yeah,
of
that take you back to
Instantly.
certain moments. Justin Bieber's Christmas album. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Me and Rhiannon used to bump that
When
shit.
I think of you, I just think of the songs that we used, to like
sing
do
together.
duets
Okay,
together.
we should
Tell
actually
them.
address this. Did we even
Yeah.
talk about Lavina?
I don't
on
think we
it?
didn't. I don't know why
Okay,
we
me and
didn't talk about
Davina
it.
used to have this fake TV show called Lavina.
Reality show.
And it was obviously Liv and Davina like mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
And
Really?
we used to just like sing.
Well, it used to be
Obvious.
it used to be about our lives. It was just a reality show, so it would like the cameras would always be
The
with
cameras
us.
were always on. Sometimes we'd break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And look at the camera.
Yeah,
I'd
I
be like,
remember
oh,
the camera
no.
guy was called Alan.
No, I didn't remember that.
I'd be
Alan, it would be like Alan's over
Alan,
there.
can you zoom in or something? So this was
Bear in
us
mind, Alan
in
didn't
school.
exist.
He doesn't exist,
Oh,
obviously.
okay.
It was made up. We were
So you-
actual-
it
Were
would
you
like
taking
Alan's-
drugs at this point? Or
No,
even.
oh my god,
Just
we
a
were the
couple of
biggest little
losers.
like virgins ever. Me and Trina, we were like,
actually were.
me, you and Sophie Sang never did anything at parties. Like we were just like, so no, we were.
I barely even drank
everyone
my
who was taking
WKD.
drugs and drinking and getting with people, and we were fucking playing Lavina in the corner, being
In
like,
the corner.
Alan.
So we had the show, and then
Good.
we also had. We used to do little concerts in the locker room.
Oh my god, yeah.
So
I
we
wish we had
had
those
we would sing
videos.
into our lockers because the
'Cause the
acoustics were good
acoustics.
within the locker, and we'd have
Yeah.
our duets. What was so we started with We Are Young.
Yeah. We.
I'm too scared. I'm sorry. The front
and
was like the
Davina
high one.
Yeah.
You sound like you had a good voice there.
Davina's got an amazing voice.
Aye.
Davina
But
was
I'm
like,
no Liv.
oh,
I'm no L Devine.
But yeah,
That
we
was
had
our
that.
first one. But
Oh,
then
yeah.
we also had Call Your Girlfriend.
Yeah, we copied that off that. Who were those girls that did that? Lennon and Maisie or something
Yeah.
did that.
That was
And
on there.
then
We did Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire.
Love it.
We did When You Believe.
Oh my god, yes.
I did the Whitney. You did the Mariah.
Sick.
Um,
Come on.
we did Bad Day. I don't know if you remember that we did that.
What's bad? Oh, you had a bad day.
And I
Oh
was
my
like,
god.
Day.
Wow, we were such losers. That's so
I was
embarrassing.
like, and then
To be honest, that's probably what set me off getting me into music, to be fair. I'm not, Davina, you are...
Oh,
res-
don't
and then
be
you left
Davina.
me behind.
Sorry.
What would you say were your first memories of Liv, like singing and making music?
So, I think the first memory I have of being really interested in music is coming home from Stardust School, and there'd been somebody gone in and done a free guitar lessons for the class. And then as part of that free guitar lesson, they basically handed out flyers and said anybody interested in coming to North Shields, a couple of miles from where we lived, to do guitar lessons, come along. So on a Saturday, I remember there was a Yamaha guitar shop or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was in
And
the back of
at the back of the shop, where you and I went along, and I remember you had your guitar, and you were with 6 or 7 other people, and it was lovely to see you sat there with
Yeah,
all
you
these
used to watch through the
mainly
window.
boys, and would watch you
Yeah, it was
through
like
this
all
window.
boys, isn't it?
Yeah, and but you were good, and I think you stuck at it, and then you kind of like went undercover a bit, I think, with it. And then Sophie said, "Dad, you should hear Olivia. She could do this thing with her voice, like Mariah Carey, or what she's called.
What, like a little
Mariah-
run?
like what she is. And
Mariah Carey, I definitely don't think we could ever compare my vocal
but I think you must have sang one of her
acrobatics to
songs.
Mariah Carey's, bloody hell.
And then you sent me 3-4 songs, and I was like, "Oh my God, she's definitely got something." I didn't think you were going to be signing to Warner Brothers out like that, but I thought, oh, she's definitely got something. I could definitely tell you had talent.
All right, Simon, go.
Yeah.
She's got something. Instead of just talking about it, Luke has sent us the song that he's had on repeat, but he's singing it.
Amazing.
Let's have a listen.
Messages getting clearer. Radars on and moving around my place. Check my look in the mirror. Wanna change my clothes, my hair, my face. I'm dying for action. Sick of sitting around trying to write this book. Need a love reaction. Come on, baby, just give me one look. You can't start a fire. Can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark.
Hey,
Brilliant.
That was so
amazing.
good.
Good.
Oh, man. The
Voice
lyrics
and the
are
guitar.
so- yeah, the guitar was
Good.
amazing. The lyrics to that song are so like
Yeah.
angsty coming of age as well. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening as always, and thank you for all the love on this whole podcast series as well. The response has been absolutely incredible, and yeah, I'm excited to do more. We're going to take a little break now with the podcast, but going to be back with series 2 in New Year, so stay tuned for that. And as always, thank you to my dad, and thank you to Davina for coming on and joining me again, and thank you to all of you for sending in your voice notes. It's been a pleasure to listen to them.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hit subscribe on Apple Podcasts, follow me on Spotify or wherever you find your favourite shows to be updated with each new episode.
Really
No,
good.
wait.
Good! Great, thanks for having me back. Okay. I'll say okay.
I just thought
Okay,
you were
let me go
gonna
again. Let me
You-
go again.